Hey, Dr. Brian here, and what I want to talk to you today about is why your mobility work may not be actually helping you. And it comes to the fact of many people don't have an actual mobility problem. They have what's called positional strength. So let's take this for example. You're having some shoulder stiffness or some lack of mobility. It's affecting your swimming, it's affecting your overhead for your lifts, even just your workouts in general. You're waking up in the morning, your shoulder feels stiff, so you get on the foam roller, you do some stretching, some yoga, and it starts feeling a little bit better. Throughout the day, you get through your workout, you might do a little bit more stretching, but the next morning you're right back to where you started. And this happens for weeks, even months, and you're not seeing the results you want. What that might be contributed to is what we call positional strength, which is the ability to maintain a joint through a given range of motion with some type of exertion or force. So what we're looking at is when you're working out, when you're training or you're doing your activities, are you actually able to keep your joint, for example, your shoulder joint, in good position, or are you compensating? That's where this lack of, or this increase in stiffness, or this pain, or this lack of mobility can be coming from, is if I'm trying to do an overhead press and I can't maintain a good shoulder joint position, then my shoulder is going to start going down to where it feels more comfortable. It's going to go back to that range of motion you had before. So in a lot of cases where somebody has range of motion here, they get this new range of motion, say another 10-15 degrees, but then after they're done working out, they lose that range of motion. It's because they're weak. They're weak in maintaining that position of that shoulder joint, hip joint, whatever it may be. So the big thing you need to focus on is actually strengthening. So before you work out, after you work out, instead of getting on the foam roller, instead of doing some stretches, you actually want to do some type of band work or some type of range of motion with some type of force through that newfound range of motion. So for example, let's say we have a band. Actually, let me grab a band. So for my shoulder, all I would do is instead of getting and stretching, I would actually have some resistance and I would go through that range of motion. So I may start here, but as I get better, and that those muscles start in helping me versus fighting against me, I now have all that range of motion. And guess what? After your workout, instead of going back to here, now you lose only half of it or a quarter of it. And the more you work on this, the more consistent that range of motion is. So the key is, if you're having issues with getting that mobility, getting rid of stiffness, is stop looking at it as a mobility problem, look at it as a positional strength problem. And the more you can stay consistent with that, I guarantee you're going to start seeing some better, more positive results. So give that a try and let us know if you have any questions.